Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trouble, and today I'm going to be recording, or today I'm going to be continuing my series, this series that I've been doing of the Golden Age arc of the Berserk manga. And I think this is the third part, this is the third series in it, of me reviewing or going over the Berserk manga. This is my reread of the Berserk manga. But with that said, and with all that introduction, let's just jump right on into it. Alright, so we open up from where we left off the last time. It's the end of the big battle. Everyone is celebrating, everyone is drinking, everyone's happy. And, Guts is being edgy. He's up on the wall. He doesn't really want to come down there. He's joining it, but he accepts that he's part of it. But, he hasn't really fully bonded with them. There's no real bond there. There's still like a barrier, like of hesitation. Anyway, so he goes down there. Pippin comes up. Pippin just drags him down there. He actually knocks Pippin in the face because Pippin, remember, he doesn't like to be touched, and Pippin bleeds. And Pippin still just drags him down there and just like, hey, drink. Everyone's drinking, and we see like the barons. I'm guessing it's the dudes that hired Griffith. We see them. They're talking. Oh, Griffith's pretty amazing. His men love him. He seems to be well respected. Everybody's celebrating. Casca is watching. But the real meat of this starts in the morning. After everyone's, in the morning, everyone's drunk. It's early in the morning. No one's waking up. Most people have a hangover, and we see Judah. Guts is sitting at the same place he was last night when Pippin came for him. Judah comes up to talk to him, and Guts and Judah gets to talking. Specifically, Guts asks him about the band of Hawk. He's like, there's something different about this mercenary band. I've been around my entire life. I've spent around mercenary bands, and this one seems different. It doesn't seem like the people in this band like they're power hungry. They're not ruffians like other mercenaries. Like what's going on? What's so different about this one? Judah then explained to him that it's Griffith. It's like he's like it's Griffith. Griffith seems to have something that most peasants don't have, which is his confidence. He seems to have confidence, which is something that a lot of peasants don't have. He has a dream, he has desires, his goal, he's driven. Anyway, and so the conversation continues. But as the conversation just continues, someone comes up and calls Guts, telling Guts that Griffith wants to talk to him. So Guts leaves, and as he's leaving, Judah tells him that, hey, you will find your place here. This is where you're going to. You will find your place here. This is where you're going to find your place here. But anyway, Guts walks off, and then we see Griffith. Griffith is bathing. He's taking a shower. He's like, come on, join in. It's good for you to sober up. But he and Guts, they get into like a little a little water fight, right? They get into a little water fight because back and forth, and that continues. And then they both stop. They're both chilling, and as they're talking, Guts noticed that Griffith is wearing a necklace, a strange necklace, and he asks Griffith about it. Griffith explained to him that it's called a bele, and he bought it from a gypsy, and the gypsy told him that whoever wears I think it's the egg of the conqueror, will rule the world. Basically, they're going to rule the world. And this leads into Griffith explaining his dream, saying that winning battles and all that, that's just one part of the plan. Great soldiers, that's just one part of my plan. I want a kingdom. I want to be a king. And, will you join me? Will you come? And he says, like, I own you, you're mine. I will decide when and where you die. And we never really get to see Guts' reaction to this because we cut away immediately. We cut away, and then we see Guts. He's standing at like a small port in the city. Honestly, I don't really know where he's standing, and he's just going over what the conversation that he and Griffith just had, which is, I want to have a kingdom. Guts is like, this is crazy. You're not a knight. You have no title. You're a commoner. You can't get a kingdom. How are you gonna get a kingdom? But he's intrigued by it. Again, he's getting caught up into the charisma, the awe of Griffith that all of the other members of the Band of the Hog gets caught up in, right? But you can tell that the idea of it. He likes the idea of it. He's like, but it is crazy though. Anyway, So he continues, and right as he's there pondering to himself, the door opens and he gets knocked into the river. I can't remember his name. I'm gonna get so much flack for this, but I can't remember this pimpin's name. Anyway, he comes in. The pimpin comes in, and he's like congratulating Guts. He's like, congratulations on your promotion to captain. Like, Guts became a captain of a squad in the band of the Hawks. He's like, congratulations, I'm so proud of you, and all that. You could probably become a commander in a year. And stuff like that. And it continues. And right as he's talking, Pippin then opens the door, which knocks him into the river with Guts. And this is like, and while all of this is happening, Guts is laughing. He's like, no, maybe I could stay here for a while. This is where Guts fully accepts that he's a part of the band. This is where okay, now he fully accepts it. He's no longer edgy. He's no longer like he's bonding with it. I could stay here for a while. I could see where this goes. But anyway, we cut away to 3 years later, and we at a battlefield, and then and all of a sudden these knights, these super armored knights, they come out, and it's a super good design, which is very great. This continued thing with Miura, it's Miura. Everything is just perfect. Right? Anyway, these knights, they come out and they're just running down everyone. They're just destroying the army, like, slow march, destroy them, obliterate them. Like, they're just going in and destroying. And the king is like, and then we cut to the king. He's like the king of Midland. He's like, is there no one in Midland that can stop them? Is there no one that can, destroy them? Like, is our army going to break from this one unit of of um, of, of cavalry? And right then and there, we see Guts, and the Battle Regime is like a beefy boy, right? He has a muscle, and we see him. He comes in on his horse, and he decides Guts just charges in this entire enemy by himself. He just goes in on them by himself, and at first this takes them off guard because they're like, it is just one man. But it shows you the eliteness of this unit, where they immediately just regroup and into formation. And as they're doing this, the whole of the band of the Hawks come, or Guts' unit comes. Well, we find out later it's actually Guts. It was actually Guts and Casca's unit comes in. And then everyone is speaking out, the Grim Reapers of the battlefield, the Band of the Hawk. So like they've built a reputation in the past few years. Actually, we don't figure it out. We haven't figured out it's been 3 years. We actually figured out it's been 3 years later on. Specifically scene right after this one. So they come in and they just swipe the entire battlefield with them. Um, but we see after the battlefield, like Guts is a commander. He did in fact get promoted to a commander, and the men of his unit, they're like, Commander Guts, you're so amazing. You're so strong. Guts is like, I was, he's humble. He's a humble dude. Like, I just did what anyone else would have done. And right as these men are like talking to him, Casca comes out, and Casca's like, "Hey, can I talk to you in private?" And then they both left to go talk. And they get into an argument. Casca's like, that's not what you were supposed to do. You went in all by yourself. You're selfish. You never think about the others. Gus is like, I do think about it. Casca calls Guts like a wild dog, which pisses Guts off. And Guts grabs her arm. He's like, "Hey, say that again." He pisses him off. Um, but excuse me. But right after that, Griffith comes in and he breaks it up. He's like, "Okay, guys, take it easy." Mm. Casca, as Casca is walking away, he's like, "Why does Griffith like you so much?" Anyway, Casca leaves, and as she's leaving, she runs into Crocus, and Crocus is like, hey, Casca, he's Griffith's favorite. We could kill you. We could kill him, not you, if you wanted. And Crocus like goes in to like touch God, and Casca trips him, causing him to fall. But she does apologize though. Casca is such a good girl. She's so amazing. I love her. Anyway, so right after that, uh, right after that, we go back to Griffith and Guts. Guts is, he's kind of taken aback because Casca is like, you never think about others, and Guts doesn't like that because he's kind of feeling somewhat about it. He's like, I do think about others. I do think about my crew. I do think about other people. And Griffith tells him like, hey, come on, man, don't think too much about it. It's not a big deal. Um, And it's like that quality of yours, that rashness of yours. It's a part of my plan. Going back to what he said earlier, when in the morning, it's all part of my plan. You don't have to worry about it. But anyway, we cut away from this scene. We cut to Midland. We see a ceremony is taking place, and Griffith is being knighted. He's becoming a knight. He's becoming a knight of Midland. Not only that, he's getting a title. I think it's the title of a viscount, if I'm not, if a viscount. I think it's a viscount or viscount. Anyway, it's vice something. It's viscount or count. He's getting knighted and he's getting a title. He's getting the title of a noble, right? So now they're officially a part of the army of Midland. And Crocus is just yapping. Casca is like, just shut the hell up, I think, because he's just yapping. Um, anyway, Crocus just keeps on yapping. Casca just tells him to shut up, uh, which causes like a little scene. And Casca, but when Casca turned him back to tell Crocus to shut up, she noticed that Guts isn't there. And after that, right after that scene, we see I think Guts is training. Guts is out in the yard training, and he's just going over all the stuff that had just happened with with Casca. He's going over Casca saying, "Hey, you're not a real friend. You never think about your teammates. You never think about anything. You never think about the people in the army. You never think about anything like that." And anyway, so Griffith gets knighted. And not long after that, like I think it's right after that, they're now at this is the good part. This is the good part, and I'm actually gonna pull it up and read through it here because this is okay. No spoilers. Let's just go through it. Let's just go through it. Anyway, anyway, so they're at the thing, right? They're at the thing, and so they're at a new battlefield, and then we see that a dude from actually that we saw him actually earlier at the party. In the first half, we saw him talking to Guts, telling Guts he was amazing. He comes back, he's talking to Griffith. They're like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" And they're like, like one soldier, this is one dude in there. Okay, there's this one dude, and nobody can beat him. We were losing 50 men, and then Judah said Nosferatu Zod. No, it does not. We don't get Nosferatu Zod yet. He says Zod. Okay, any Berserk fan knows where this is going. And so Judah gets into it. He's explaining like what who Nosferatu Zod is, and all that. He's like, he's like the god of battle. He disappears, and people think he's dead, and all of a sudden he shows up, and he's unkillable, like a master of the blade. And he said like all these rumors, and he's telling us about it, and he's like all this has been going on for 100 years, which is like, and everybody's in like disbelief. Nobody believes this, and but then we cut to Guts. We actually cut to Guts. Guts is the one leading the charge on the castle. Guts is like, I've sent 50 men in there. I sent 50 men in there, and no one has come out. Like, there's no way in hell one soldiers can do this. And there's one dude is like, Gus is like, I gotta go in there. The men are like, you can't go in there. You can't go in there. Maybe we should call Griffith for backup. The Guts is like, no. If you do that, I'll kill you. I'll freaking kill you because Guts is a badass. But right as all this is going on, one dude staggers out. He like staggers out of the building, and then he utters out Nosferatu Zod. Actually, I think his name is Dilu, or Dilu. Anyway, and Gus is like, I'm going in. Okay, I'm going in. No one follows me. So Guts goes in there, and the scene that he sees is just brutal. Armored knights torn apart. Apparently, remember this is Zodd in his like base form, right? Armored knights torn apart like they were hit by cannonballs. Um, Piles of bodies. We see like the gore; they're just destroyed. And then we see like a horror scene of this giant pile of bodies stacked up against the wall. Is actually no, it's just a pile. And then we see Zod, and he's impaled two men on his sword, and his finger, he just crushed the skull of another. He's crushed the skull of another dude in his hand. This dude is amazing, and he's just standing there naked with blood splattered all over him. And Guts freaks out. Guts just rages, seeing his men dead. Guts rages, and Zodd just like throws the Zodd swings it with the two men on the freaking. They're still on the sword. The two men are still on the fucking sword, and bro, he swings it at Guts, and Guts dodges. Guts manages to dodge, and this seemingly excites Zodd. Like, dude, right? It's like, no one has been able to dodge. No one has been able to dodge my sword in a while. And so he and Guts goes in, and then he goes in to attack Guts again, and then the battle starts. And Jesus Christ, is so excited. I'm sorry. The battle starts, and he's swinging at Guts. He's swinging, 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 swinging. And he swings at the freaking pillar, and the sword goes through the fucking pillar, and it's amazing, right? And Guts basically realized like he's gonna die. This is insane. And there's even one panel where he swings at Guts, and Guts has to like Guts parries with his sword, and he has to raise his arm up to try and block it. I, I don't know. It's probably some foreshadowing of him gonna get his arm cut off, and it sends him flying into the concrete. Gus is there, like he's there, and he basically realized that I can't do this anymore. I can't be parrying. I can't be fighting. I'm already at my limit, and this fight has barely started. I'm gonna die. Um, I'm going to die. But okay, sorry, this is so exciting. But so he decides, he makes a plan. He makes a plan. He takes a stance, which Zod is like, oh, you're a smart one. You know this. You knew that you were going to die. You continue to do this, you're gonna die. You try to continue to parry me, you would die. And Zod accepts the channel. He accepts the challenge, and he goes in to attack Guts. And Guts swings his swords and swinging his blade and Zodd's sword. He cuts Zodd's sword in half and actually manages. And then he comes back around and he swings down and actually manages to cut Zodd. And Zodd goes, ah, like it excites him. Now the blood, like his blood starts to flow. It's like when you're about to work out and then you get a good stretch in, you get a good jog in. The blood, the adrenaline starts to kick. Right, the bloodlust kicks in as he's about to say his bloodlust is about to kick in. He's like, he goes, oh, it's been a while since anyone, it's been a while since any man has cut me this deep. It's just, it's amazing. It's amazing that you've been cut me this deep. And then he fucking transforms. He transforms, and we see the Raiders, which is Guts' unit, has come in, right? And I'm sorry, this is so fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the design is great. The art is great. Every fucking thing is great. The art is fucking amazing. Zodd's design is mind blowing. Anyway, so he transformed and he has Guts' sword in his hand. And Guts is sweating, shaking, fear. Guts is fucking afraid, man. He's literally shaking in his boots. Like it's insane. Like he's like, because Zod is like, I'm so happy. It's been forever since anyone has been able to scar me. Since anyone has been able to wound me. And he goes in and he just swipes him with his paw. This amazing. He swipes him with sends Guts actually flying into the concrete. And he's like, get up. I'm not gonna have any mercy on you. I'm not gonna do any of this. There will be no mercy. There will be nothing. Even if you're injured, no matter what state you're in, I'm never gonna show you any mercy, right? And he just keeps going and going and going until he finally Guts can't do anything. Guts is just broken. He finally picks up Guts and he's about to bite Guts. And right as he's about to bite Guts, some arrows fly. We see Griffith has finally arrived. Griffith and reinforcement, and Griffith is sweating. He's keeping a calm. Obviously he can't be afraid because he's the commander. Right? He can't be afraid. The men, they're terrified. Men are freaking terrified. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them probably pissed their pants. Griffith is like keeping his composure, but he's sweating. He's keeping his composure, but he's sweating, right? And Casca, Crocus, everyone is just seeing it, and everyone is just fucking terrified of Zodd, right? But Griffith finally manages to catch his breath and he's like, don't falter, reload and fire the next volley. This pisses Zodd off. He rages out like, I won't forgive you. I won't forgive anyone that interferes with my battle. No one. And he just delves in. He just goes in, ripping them apart, stomping on them, tearing them, biting them, just ramming them, like everything you can imagine, right? And I don't think Casca is afraid. Griffith is like, everybody retreat. Griffith tells everyone to retreat, and Casca tries to stop him because Griffith is going in to save Guts. Casca tries to stop him. Griffith is like, no, go, which makes Casca sad again. So Griffith goes in. He picks up Gus. He's like, hey, can you move? Gus is like, if I don't move, I'm gonna die. But anyway, uh, the sorry, I'm sorry. Anyway, so Griffith goes, you go right and I go left, and then they both charge. Griffith cuts off Nosferatu's arm. Guts goes for the throat and cuts him in the throat. And Zodd is like, Zodd gets angry and he whips Griffith with his tail. He whips Griffith with his tail. I need to calm down because this is just. He whips Griffith with his tail, sends Griffith flies into the wall, cracking him. Griffith is nowhere near as tough as Guts. So Griffith flies into the wall. He's done. He's out. And then he goes in. He attacks Guts. He actually hits Guts with his arm. Right? Remember, Griffith cuts off his arm, and he hits Guts with his arm, sending Guts flying, and Guts gets knocked down. And he says, "Well, I've met two humans, not human, two humans that can hurt me. That's a new one. It's such a shame that both of you are going to die." And he goes for Griffith first, thank God. And as he turns over Griffith to kill him, Griffith is wearing the Bayonet. He sees the Crimson Bayonet, and and he's like, "Whoa, the egg of the king, the egg of the king. Like, where did this human get it from? Like, how did this human come to get this? Like, oh no, could it be? Could it possibly be?" Guts isn't out though. Griffith is out, but Guts isn't. And then Guts is struggling to get back to his feet. Everyone is watching, but they're too far away to hear what Zodd is about to say, which is that when Griffith's dream comes crumbling down, if you call this man a friend, when his dreams come, let's just say what he exactly says. He says, "So I will give you a prophecy. Be prepared, for when this man's dreams come crashing down, you will face your death, a death you can't escape." And then he punches. He just does like a fist bump to the ceiling, and it cracks, and then he flies off. And then everybody comes running in to try and tend to Guts and Griffith because Guts is still kind of stunned by what Zodd just says. He doesn't understand. Uh, Everybody runs in. They come to try to tend to Griffith, but Griffith is out. He's knocked out. He's injured. And then Guts tries to go over to talk to see what's Griffith, and then Casca brushes him away. We see her crying, and she's just like, "This is all your fault." She's blaming Guts for what happened to Griffith. But anyway, we cut to the castle in Midland. We find out that Guts is fine, Griffith is fine. They're injured, but they're gonna be fine. Guts is wearing a crotch. I think it's called. I think it's called a crotch. Some douchebag noble is like, Griffith is gonna get too much power. He's gonna do all of that. We gotta stop him. And Guts just brushes him off. He's like, he tries to attack Guts. Guts just glares at him like, "Sit down, little boy. Where you going? Sit down." And that's it. That's where it ends. That's Nosferatu Zodd. Right off the bat, we get a great introduction of Griffith. Um, you know, the one thing with the Golden Age arc that I've noticed, despite the fact that I've reread the Golden Age arc, is that I don't hate Griffith. Right? I really don't hate. It's because I always forget that he's the villain. Like, if you reread the Golden Age arc, even if you've reread it, I think this is what I think it's probably my third time reading Berserk. I don't know, the third, fourth, who knows. Anyway, and you notice that Griffith is like, you don't hate him. Like, you look at him and you really don't hate him. It's like you forget that he's the villain. No matter how many times you reread it, you always forget. Kentaro Miura writes it in such a way where you're so immersed in the story that you completely forget that Griffith is Griffith. Even if, say, okay, first time reader, okay, you don't remember anything that happens in the Black Swordsman. Let's just say you don't remember the events of the Black Swordsman. Like, not when I said don't remember, I don't mean like don't remember. I mean like the the Golden Age arc is so immersive you completely forget that there was an arc before it. Is what I'm trying to say. Griffith, he's like you look at him and you're like he's such a good dude. Like you don't remember that he's gonna be a dick. You don't remember what he's gonna become, what he's gonna do. It's like it's really amazing. A testament to Kentaro's writing. It's super cool. But we get a lot of foreshadowing in this arc. Guts and Casca arguing like a dog and a cat. um, Crocus is being sad. I like all of this. You're bonding with them, Pippin, Judah. It's all good. It's all fun. It's like the fight between Zodd, as we just saw. It was so fucking exciting. I couldn't stop smiling when I was reading it. I was on the edge of my seat, literally. I was sitting there and I was like, oh, I couldn't help it. Um, but yeah, again, this is a super good read. I definitely always recommend. I would that you recommend reading, especially even if just go back and reread the Zod fight. It's just amazing, and the artwork is fucking mind blowing. And to think that it's only gonna get better from here, like it's ridiculous how fucking good the artwork is. Is like it's amazing. You see it, and the artwork of the story adds so much to it, so much. And it's actually one of my worries with the new Berserk is that the art it's good. Like I've always said, it's good, but you can tell it's not Miura. You can tell. You can just the feel is like okay. But with that said, that's it. That's part 3 of the Golden Age arc review. It's super fun. The fight between Zod was so fucking amazing. I couldn't stop stuttering. I couldn't stop tripping over myself. Uh, but anyway, with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.